T.B.Photo X1.5 TFX, and welcome back to another video. Well, if you want a heated photography debate that doesn't really center around the camera, but the eternal debate, it is the eternal war between prime versus zoom lenses. Well, I thought, what the heck, I just throw out my 2 cents on it, but it's actually quite simple. Why not, instead of thinking primes versus zoom lenses, why not just say prime and zoom lenses? Because I feel like I use both. It depends on the situation, so it's situationally dependent. So yeah, that's my take on it. Why not primes and zooms? For me, it's more situationally dependent. What I have to do and what is most usable at the time. I mean, if I want to do a planned, or rather, if I'm just out and about, you know, just traveling, I want to travel light, and in that case, if I want to travel light, zooms are the good, preference for me. For instance, if I'm going out bird watching, this is a 75-300 Nikkor zoom lens. And it has some close focus features as well. I think I've seen this in some other of my videos. But anyway, out and about, I'm about going with this. And for instance, when sometimes I even take the Mamiya 645 Pro out, and I don't really feel like I want to carry a camera bag full of lenses for that camera. So what is a good compromise? Well, this isn't that radical of a zoom when it comes to, if you compare to full frame, but for medium format, yeah, it does work for me. It's kind of a mid to a normal to mild telefocus. It's, see if I can remember this, or I can never remember it, I have to read the name of it. It's the Mamiya C-Core Zoom ULD-C. It's the 105-210 millimeter zoom, and it's a constant f4.5, and it can go up to f32. So basically, if I'm gonna just go out and shoot for fun, or if it's a event where I don't really know what is gonna happen and that I want to follow an object, and do both, close in and a little bit more wide angle that I can follow a subject. I mean, zooms are my cup of tea when it comes to that. But if I'm gonna do a planned shoot, where everything is under my control, I mean, I basically then try to use prime lenses. For instance, the camera that is filming this, I'm sure you know by now, it's the Nikon D7200, and on it now I have the Nikkor 28mm 3.5. So what I mean with that is that this is a planned shoot. I have planned it in that I know where my camera is gonna sit. I know, how far it's gonna be in the, angle, the viewing angle, or whatever you wanna call it, and the lighting is under my control, so I know what I am going in for. When I'm out and about, you might not know what you're gonna get. So that's when I like to use zoom lenses, or when it's action photography and so on, but more about it later. But for instance, now I'm using a prime lens to get as good a quality as possible. But I have a little bit I have my trusty old cheat sheet, so try to do a little bit of a list, to know what is for what. So, for instance, zoom lenses in the moment, when it's a spur of the moment and I'm just want to travel light and I don't want to lug around tons of equipment, then zoom lenses are better for me because they're more versatile. If I'm gonna go for a planned photo session, then it's primes. So for instance, here you have zooms for both medium format and DSLRs or SLRs. Here, for instance, I have one of my Mamiya 6 RB67 lenses. This is the let's see here. It's the 250 millimeter. I mean, this one instead, this is more when I'm doing something planned, when it's pre-planned everything, so it's a little bit different. And for instance also, you have seen this little bag before, the Tokina, made in Japan, 135mm f2.8. Great portrait lens on a 35mm film camera, and it becomes a little bit more telefocus on the, the likes of the Nikon D7200. So for that aspect, these are kind of more for the planned shoot. If I, like now I'm doing static video, I use prime lenses in the majority of the time because I know, first of all, I don't have any I'm a one-man show when it comes to this, so I don't have anybody who can use the camera for me, so I don't really have to have that hassle with zooming and changing, pulling focus and all of that. So in that aspect, it's better with primes in my opinion, because also, as they say, apparently older prime lenses also has better quality compared to older zoom lenses. I think it's not that much of the issue today, but historically that has been a little bit of the beef. Well, I also, if I'm gonna do some forms of film, or rather video production, zoom lenses can be more beneficial because you can utilize that classic Hitchcock effect, dolly zoom, or whatever you want to call it, the vertigo effect, seen in films like Hitchcock's Vertigo, Goodfellas, and Jaws, among others. So yeah, they have their place in video as well. So action movement, we've been into that a little bit. Like, if I'm gonna go out and photograph birds, sometimes zooms can be a little bit more easy, they can fill the purpose a little bit better. So, yeah, and so nature, wildlife, action, sports and so on, zoom lenses does it better for me because I don't have to change equipment that often. Primes, static and still life, landscape, architecture, the Mamiya RB67. And another thing with zooms, inherent in them, you have variable picture angle, or the angle that out of the front of every camera lens you have like a pie wedge where it's the field of view it will cover, and the more you zoom in, the tighter that field of view will become, and with wide angles it will become more wide. So that's when, if you do portraiture with a wide angle lens, you will basically elongate the person's face, and you have a little bit different proportions, which can also be an effect depending on what you're doing. So it also is a little bit of that, prime lenses are often also smaller generally than their zoom counterparts. But I will actually throw in a wild card here, actually. This little thing that I know is, this is a little bit of a mixed bag, I know, but this is a little bit of a fun thing to use. It's basically the telefocus, that the most compact form of telefocus lenses there is. And I know that these have basically fallen out of favor because of the bokeh donuts it creates. It's mirror lenses. This, for instance, is an Opteka. It says here, Opteka MC mirror lens. It's a constant f8. So here you basically have a 500mm lens. This is a 300mm lens. And I know if you're gonna have better quality zooms or better quality large telefocus, they become very large very fast. But mirror lenses were basically, they're lightweight, it's basically telescope technology that has trickled down into photography. So basically a 500mm focal length lens that you can use on a DSLR. So basically it becomes 250 more, so 5, 6, 7, 750 millimeter with this on the D7200. And of course you can also have, you know, 2 times teleconverters on this, so it becomes even greater. So what I just want to show you is that primes versus zooms, why not primes and zooms? Because depending on what you're doing in photography, why not use what is the most appropriate? And I'm just sorry, my phone is sending me messages and so on, but I would like to hear from you now. What do you have a preference? Do you exclusively use one type over the other? And why use one type exclusively? I don't really get that. I think that why not just use the tool that best suits the occasion? And if I'm gonna, you know, quote Mike Rowe of Dirty Jobs, he had a quote where he said, "Don't just work hard and smart." Because that was also something, either you just have to work hard or you work smart. And he said, why not combine the two and work hard and smart? And that's what I try to do when it comes to photography, to work hard and work smart. And in that aspect, it's better for me to have a variety where I can use both prime lenses and zoom lenses depending on the situation. But as I said, I would like to hear from you guys. Do you use one over the other, and what are your preferences? But anyway, as always, this is Tobias Bergström from T.B.Photo X1.5 TFX, and I'd like to see you guys in the next video. And as always, as you're supposed to say in this YouTube malarkey, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care from now on. Bye.